Hello, beautiful. If you're joining me here, chances are that you've taken the self-love temperature check, and there may be some awarenesses that are percolating for you. So, for sure, some of these awarenesses may be long-standing awarenesses, and others may be new. Whatever they are, my invitation to you is to really welcome these awarenesses and to challenge yourself to welcome them without criticism, without any kind of disparaging perspective around it. Because when awarenesses arise for us and we welcome them with curiosity, with interest, and with a high degree of compassion, we have more capacity within ourselves to transform them into something that creates value and serves us over the long term. Typically, when we critique ourselves and criticize ourselves for not being a certain way, we don't necessarily have the wherewithal to stick with a transformative path. So, really, the invitation is allow these awarenesses to simply be gentle, beautiful awakenings for you. If we haven't met yet, if we are still strangers, I'm Safia. And I think of myself as a self-love advocate. I'm really deeply passionate about self-love because we live in a time where so many of us are in an almost perpetual state of feeling like we are not enough. And our not enoughness has got very extreme consequences in our lives. They push us into this perpetual role of trying to compensate and overfunction so that we can eventually feel like we are worthy and acceptable to other people. When we are able to increase our capacity for our self-love, we bring more compassion online for ourselves. We bring more kindness online for ourselves, more patience with ourselves, and more mindfulness about what is right for us, what serves us, and what no longer serves us. And when we have this capacity for compassion and self love in our lives, we can really step into our moreness. We can tolerate what is difficult with greater ease. We can have our own backs. And we can really build the kinds of connections that allow our aliveness to surge. And we have the energy and the fortitude for the missions that really feel important for us in this one beautiful life that we have. And so, if we were strangers, we are no longer. I want to really offer you something that I think is foundational in our relationship with self love. And that is this distinction between our human doing and our human being. Now, intellectually, this distinction is very easy to understand. It's very challenging for many of us to shift it because so much of our practices around our human doing as opposed to our human being is deeply ingrained and we don't even have real awareness around it. And so we need guidance and support and practices to bring the awarenesses online for us. The other challenge is that we've been conditioned into so many of the patterns that we have, and we have to really create the practices in our lives to make new conditioning and new programming possible for us. So let's explore this distinction between human doing and human being. Human doing is this idea that our worthiness is a function of how hard we work, how effective we are, how efficient we are, how productive we are, how much we achieve. And it's a function of how pleasing we are with others and how little we do or how little we are able to do to make it challenging for others to be around us. We really seek our approval and we seek our sense of acceptance and belonging from others. And so we do so much. We overfunction, we over-deliver, we over-engineer everything that we do, and we over-deliver. We set our sights on having things so that when we have those things, that we can finally feel worthy and deserving of our belonging amongst others. Now, I don't want to create the impression that I don't value hard work. I value excellence. I value productivity. What is an important distinction, though, is that what many of us do when we are operating as human doings is that we first feel the need to earn through doing our worthiness. And the result of this is that it is quite stress and anxiety fueling. When our doing determines our worthiness, the stacks are very, very deeply stacked against us. We are hoping, we are waiting, we are wanting others to give us our approval, our validation, our acceptance, and our belonging. Sometimes they might. Very often they are so preoccupied with what is important and front and center for them that they can't really notice and then extend to us the validation and the appreciation that is needed. We all need validation, but it's very, very challenging for us to receive that validation if we are not able to already be in a healthy relationship with our own worthiness. Even when they do extend the validation we seek and the acceptance and belonging that that we seek from them. If we don't have a healthy relationship with our own worthiness, what we tend to do is we treat it with suspicion. And so even though we're overfunctioning, even though we're doing so much to earn the very thing we yearn for, we can't actually receive it. We can't hold it because we don't have the capacity within us to receive it and to hold it. And so our human doing really is a challenge if it is the foundation and the access point to our worthiness. Nothing is required for us to be and to feel worthy. Our worthiness is a function of our belief system. It is something that we simply decide. No one can give us our worthiness. The only one that can do that for us is ourselves. And we can still continue to enjoy productivity and hard work and really stretching ourselves. And we can enjoy it even more. It can be an adventure for us because along the way, whatever the results are, they don't determine our value and worth as a human being. The value of being is so expansive that I don't think a simple conversation, one simple conversation can even do justice to it. But what is noteworthy about really stepping into a being mindset or relationship with ourselves, a being oriented relationship with ourselves, is that by removing this attachment, these conditions for our worthiness, what ends up happening is our nervous systems can calm down. And when our nervous systems calm down, we can migrate from a survival orientation towards life to really thriving, to really stepping into our moreness. What happens when we operate from our beingness and our wholeness is that we can enter into relationships without there being these conditions of our performance so that we can be acceptable and pleasing and valuable in other people's lives. We can really receive love because we are at a foundational level already practicing love and magnetizing it towards us. We kind of know what to do with it when we do receive it, as opposed to being suspicious of it. And what is also very important about really stepping into beingness is that not only do we cultivate a home within ourselves for ourselves, we actually cultivate a home within ourselves for ourselves that we want to come home to, that we want to experience because it brings us joy, it brings us peace, and it brings us ease. So if you are someone who's been living life as a human doer, my invitation to you right here, right now, is to take a moment to really pause and to take a deep, beautiful, generous breath and to really proclaim to yourself, I don't have to do to deserve. Everything that I want, need to feel and experience, I can have simply because I am. I don't have to earn my way into acceptance and belonging. I belong with me first. I belong with me always. When we are able to step into this kind of relationship with ourselves, we really have access to our God spark, to our divinity, to that thing that is quintessentially self, that authentic relationship with ourselves. I want to offer to you that this is the foundation of self-love, this ability to unequivocally accept and express our worthiness simply because we are, without conditions, and to allow our performance to simply be our performance, and to allow the results of our performance to simply be the results of our performance, and to allow every human being to have the experience of us that they have without it detracting from our worth and our value. I want to extend an invitation to you. If you'd like to deepen your awarenesses around your relationship with yourself, and if you'd like to learn more around how to take these awarenesses and to transform those awarenesses into a greater capacity for self-love within yourself, to join me for the Self-Love Reset. It's a 90-minute session online, and it's a conversation in which we really explore what it takes within ourselves to build a relationship where we can deeply and profoundly become the expression of our moreness with ourselves, our moreness with others, and our moreness around the things that we deeply care about. There's a link for the program somewhere nearby, and I hope to see you there. Bye.